So what are we talking about? We're talking about telepathy. Is it a real thing, or is it some kind of fantasy or some kind of hocus pocus witchcraft thing? Or what is it? Well, let's see if we can find out what it is by going through a number of things. We're going to start with this. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Now, who said that? Well, it's recorded that Christ said that in John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Now, how do we hear that voice? To those of you who have heard that voice, how do we hear it? We hear it in our head, don't we? At least for me, in my experiences throughout my life, it's always been in my head. Like the one time I've told the story before when I heard, "Get up and walk out now," in my head. And I know that was the voice of the Father. And so, yeah. And when it comes to God, in which we are in the image of, telepathy, for lack of better words, is a real thing. I think it's bigger than just telepathy, but we'll get into that. So my sheep hear my voice, and I know them. Is there any other references that make you wonder about this topic? Well, if we go to Revelations 17:13, these have one mind, talking about the kingdom of the 10 horns with the 10 kings. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. One mind. Well, we'll say, well, that just, one mind just means an agreement. One mind just means that they're all working on the same scheme. Or, well, why does it say one mind? Why don't it say that they have one agreement or one plan or one something else? But it doesn't. It says mind. And there are a number of other references as well biblically. Like you can look at Colossians 13:11, and it says, "Finally, brethren, farewell, be perfect, be of good comfort, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace shall be with you." So be of one mind. It doesn't say be of one law. It doesn't say be of one plan. It doesn't say be of one book and only listen to this one book. It says be of one mind. Now, how is that possible? Well, we think we might have some idea. And we've got other biblically. Can y'all guys see if they help? Okay.
Hear you, Roxy. Are you trying to say something? Sorry.
No, not me.
Okay. Never mind. Sounded like something weird. Anyways.
This echoing is what's going on. I'm getting quite a bit of echo. That's why I was asking y'all guys if you can mute temporarily. Okay, so let's keep going here. We've got this image here. What does this image come from? Well, it comes from a couple of things. One is it comes from Stargate SG-1. It comes from a television series, but it also comes from, this is the symbol or the image for the Stargate AI project. One of their logos that they're using is this image. What is this image? Well, in one perspective, it is a pyramid with an all-seeing eye or a crystal ball on top. Okay. You may think, well, what's that got to do with it? Well, think about the all-seeing eye. Okay, like it's on your dollar bill, which we'll take a look at here in a minute. What does it mean to see all or know all? And how would you know all? What if you're trying to conquer a people? How is it that you're going to know everything they're thinking, or know everything? You say, okay, you build these things and you spy on them and you listen to them. But is there a higher level of this? Is there a higher level of the all-seeing eye? Does God in heaven know our thoughts? Yes, of course he does. So you have these programs out here. Here's another mountain or pyramid, right? With a light on top with the Stargate on it, the Stargate AI project. And here you have the open AI, which is the guys that are supposed to be partly behind it. And what it's looking at is you're looking at what looks like a toroidal type thing, a torus, or a spinning hurricane, or a spinning tornado, or also a snake wrapped around a tree, like the tree in the garden that was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the tree had what wrapped around it? A snake. Just like the winds in a tornado or the winds in a hurricane. And it's all in the same image, you might say. And of course, we have the Stargate program or the Stargate project, that the CIA released some information on supposedly. And it goes into talking about how they were studying people that understood telepathy and other capabilities of some people. And that goes along with the GATE program that is still going on to this day in schools all across the world. And they call it the Gifted and Talented program, or the Gifted and Talented Education program. And I find it interesting that you will always see in most of their imagery, you will see that circle, that Stargate or that gateway. You'll see that. And here we have the tree, even symbolism from the tree of the garden that I just mentioned. And here you go. You're passing the light, passing the torch, passing the knowledge, again in a circle, and the Gate and Gifted Talented program. And so we've got all these programs like that. This was back from the 70s, the Stargate program, 70s, 80s, 90s. And they said, oh, we didn't find nothing, so we stopped looking. Well, they didn't stop. They haven't stopped looking anymore, because now they have the Stargate project. The Stargate project is a self-proclaimed $500 billion project where they're building technology all around the world in different locations. They're building networks, kind of like the networks that work inside of our minds, or maybe a network that exists between a global consciousness of people that are connected and understand things. You may ask, how is it that there were pyramids built in Giza, pyramids built in South America, pyramids built in America, pyramids built in Canada, Asia, India, China, Indonesia, Australia? Pyramids were built all around the world, yet they had no way to communicate. I know, we think someone came down from above, didn't they? Maybe and told them how to build these things and do this. We know that kind of thing went on as well. But what if they built the original pyramids, whichever one that was, whether it was in Giza or whatever, and they broadcasted? Most of us know that the pyramids were built and they were some kind of a power generation center, generating power for something. For what? Well, if we look at the symbolism that's on our dollar bill, we can see the for what. We can see the for what. Let's see if I've got it here. I know I have it here. Just haven't done it. I've showed it yet. We'll see it in a minute. We all know that on top of the pyramid on the dollar is the all-seeing eye. They're telling us the answer. They're telling us that my theory is likely right. And it's not just my theory. We're all here working on this. But now we're bringing it to all of y'all so it can be all of our theories to work on. So if you can see all things and know all things, you're kind of like God, aren't you? Kind of says you understand what people are thinking, what people are doing, what they're going to do. Remember the Minority Report, where they knew what people were going to do? How are they going to achieve that? Well, if you look at the movie The Minority Report, it was through technology. And if you look at what's going on right now with OpenAI and the Stargate project, they're going to use technology in order to be able to control and turn something that may be a natural capability that we all have and have forgotten how to use it for the most part. They're going to take and build a technology in order to control that and further imprison the people and the people's minds, because the mind is what? It is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The Holy of Holies. It is the temple. Your body is the temple, but the Holy of Holies is your head, the mind. So the last place to invade for them to learn to control and to divide and conquer, is controlling the minds and what someone thinks, and also giving them the things to think. You understand? So now if we look at the pyramids around the world, or let's look at a couple of pyramid locations around the world, just to show you how prevalent they are, more than you think. Okay, where are we looking right now? You can see, if you're looking at this map here, this happens to be a globe form map, so don't have a fit out there. You can come down and zoom, and you can come into here and you can see there's all these red lines. What are those red lines going to? Well, let's look. Oh, look, this is in southern China, and it's a pyramid in southern China. Oh, but there's more red lines. Let's look and see what's at this red line. Oh, look, it's another pyramid. And if we go on over and look, another one right beside it. Now, I would imagine that someone had a really good purpose for building these pyramids. And no, I'm not saying the only purpose was for all-seeing mind kind of building technology. I think it was probably multiple things. But we have these pyramids all around the world. If I click another location, let's go here, start showing this is another structure, and it was built on top of a pyramid type thing. Let's go to another one. Let's see here. Apparently this is a pyramid shape as well that sits in the middle of a body of water. Another thing you'll notice about most of these is that they are inside of or near a flow of water, like a river, like this river down here. Pretty much all of them are like that. There's water very nearby. And these are just some examples, is what I'm trying to show. This map isn't very clear like the other ones, so I can't really show it. Let's go down a couple more and see what I'm getting. I haven't even looked at these locations yet. Okay, another pyramid right there. And where is this located at? Let's back out and see what country we're in. We are in Australia. See, even in Australia, they have pyramids built. Now, how is it that people all around the world, during the same general period of time, decided to build pyramids? Why is that? Like these pyramids, pyramids of Giza. And look, right beside current. That current, see the flow of energy, currency. You could also have, you would also find, like I said, the water, the flowing of currency, the energy. It is always seems to be there. If you look at the dollar bill, there's imagery of, or symbolism and imagery of water on those. Okay. So now what Shannon was mentioning there is something they found very recently, according to some reports that are out, is that they found that the pyramids sit on top of something that kind of looks like, let's see, I think I have this. They kind of look like this. They sit on top of the trees, or something that looks like phallic symbols, or Tesla coils, or the tree out of the garden of good and evil, and it's the snake wrapped around the tree. And they claim that this is the type of structure that they have found, or structures that they have found below Giza. Okay. And here are some of the other images real quick, just to show you that they're releasing with some of their proof, along with the LiDAR ground scans, where they're finding that, in fact, there are solid formed pieces that are way down into the ground, like very, very far down into the earth. And so it makes me wonder if really what we aren't looking at is, I knew that it was energy generation, but how about was it for communication, for broadcasting? Was the original Tower of Babel, Babel meaning a word for communication, a lot of things communicating at once? Was that tower actually part of its design was to be like God, right? How about for broadcasting and be like God, being able to speak to people in their minds? Tower of Babel. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm saying we need to ask questions. And here you go with your dollar, with the pyramid, with all seeing eye sitting right on top of it, giving us the hint as to what their goal has been all along. And what does this right here mean? Novus Ordo Seclorum. It means out of many, one. Okay. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to break everything down into one, the control of everything, and into a one world government, a one mind control system. And they've been slowly introducing this stuff for a long time. And of course, what have they been doing? They have been dividing and conquering, and making us stand 6 feet apart. They're trying to divide us emotionally as well as vibratory. They don't want you near your family. They don't want you to feel compassion and love. They don't want you to understand these things. They want to divide and conquer.